Hi guys, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, which means it is time for a Facebook video. And aren't you glad we can do that while we're self-isolating? I mean, dang, we can all still get together as if nothing terrible was happening in the world. So, I don't see anybody joining yet. Hopefully we'll get some folks. There they come. And I'm going to switch this, move that just a little bit. Let me make sure I'm transmitilating over here on the computer off stage left. And then we will get started. Okay. Well, that seems to be the norm now. My picture's just blurry. I can't see anything. Hey, Julie. But I can see comments, so that is good. That means something is happening. Something is happening. Hi, Patricia. Thanks for joining me. I hope everybody is staying safe and washing their hands, blowing their nose, all of those other things. Julie, you'd have missed me. Hey, Karen. Just so you know, Karen, I'm going to reference you tonight, and I'm going to call you Karen K because I do not wish to butcher your last name on camera and embarrass both of us. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Pam. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate you. You'll probably recognize this fun fold when I get going. Hi, Vicky. Appreciate you joining. Hi, Nan. Hi, Nancy. Rainy West Texas. Boy, we could stand some rain to knock down this stupid pollen. Hey, Faith. Yes, exactly. Rub-a-dub, scrub-dub. Hi, Diane. Appreciate you joining. Rosie. Amy. Hi. Donna. Jerry. All right, so we're going to get started. This is a fun fold that I saw, last week on my friend Karen K's blog, and tomorrow I will have a link to her card on my post where this will be described in mostly pretty good detail. It'll be detail. And she uses the Best Dressed suite, but I decided to use the new Ornate Garden suite, which will be available to y'all. If you're not already a demonstrator, it will be available to you on the 1st of April, which is coming soon. So you can see, if you look at it from the top down, you can see that it's not quite the same shape as a normal card. But when you fold it up, it fits very nicely into an A2 envelope, and I like that. Okay. Yes, it's going to be a little thick, so you probably have to have a little extra postage. Hi, Robbie. Hi, Brooke. Hey, Marianne. Diane, I hate autocorrect too. I saw a thing on Facebook last week that says autocorrect seems like it's really trying to help you, but in fact, it's just a tiny person inside who's completely drunk and doesn't have a clue. And I think that's about right. I also saw a really good post. Karen, I think I shared this and you saw it. It was just a whole bunch of autocorrect text conversations. It was awesome. I was laughing so hard I was crying. I think I might have, peed my pants a little bit. Hi, Julie. Hey, Barbara. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Hi, Deborah. All right. So anyway, this is the front. And then if you turn it over, this is the back because, front, back. And you've still got room to leave a note. And if you notice, this is the Ornate Garden Specialty DSP. This is actually the same DSP pattern. It's this on one side and this on the other. So very easy. There's many different patterns, so you could certainly pick which ones. And then I used the flowers from Thoughtful Blooms and punched them with a small bloom punch. And those are two items that are available in the current Celebration catalog. The Thoughtful Blooms stamp set is available with a $50 purchase, and the Small Bloom punch is available with a $100 purchase. And I know that, I saw that punch and I was like, geez, what do we need another punch for? Well, it's kind of perfect. It's a perfect size punch. It goes wonderfully with the flowers in the Thoughtful Blooms set. And we've heard rumors that it's continuing to the annual catalog, which tells me there will be a stamp set in the next annual catalog that coordinates with that punch. So now would be a really good time. You can get some products for $100 and then get this punch for free. It will not be free in the new catalog, just saying. All right, so we've got an envelope, and then I've used from the new Ornate Garden suite, I've got the Ornate Style stamp set and the Ornate Thanks stamp set. Ornate Thanks is a bundle, will be a bundle with the Ornate Borders dies. And I kind of used this tangentially, and I'm going to show it to you. And then Ornate Style is bundled with the wonderful and beautiful Ornate Borders die set, which I did not use for this card. So that is why it's sitting aside. And then we've got some other things here and there. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, the other thing here and there that I particularly used is my very favorite new die set, this Stitched So Sweetly. This is the die, just so you know. Nope, that's not the die. It's the next die down. Middle die. Okay? All right, so let's get started and make us a fun fold card. All right, Janie, how are you, Janie? Glad to see you. Hi, Terry. All right, so let's get going. All of these card cuts will be on my blog tomorrow, so you don't even have to write them down unless that's just how you roll. We are going to start with a piece of early espresso cardstock. It is 4 1/4 by 11. And using my Simply Scored board, let me move this out of the way so I don't make a terrible, terrible mess. I don't want to ruin my card. I don't want to ruin my card. Okay, so you're going to make 4 score and no 7 years ago. And we are going to score at 2 1/4, at 3 5/8, at 7 3/8, and 8 3/4. Boom, bada boom. Done and done. Okay. Now, I will tell you, don't get carried away when you're making your folds and getting everything put down. Take your time to make sure that you fold the cards straightly. And what you're going to do is you're going to, starting from the left side, you're going to make the first fold be a valley. Okay? And I'm going to make the time to make sure it's straight and give it a burnish. And then the next fold will be a mountain. So I like to turn it over because that just makes it easier for me. And make sure it's good and straight. It's paper. Make it do what you want it to do, not vice versa. And then the next one is another mountain fold. So I'm going to turn it over, line it up, and get a nice burnish. Okay, and then the final fold is another valley, just like that. Okay, so when you're looking at the front of the card, you have a valley fold, a mountain fold, a mountain fold, and a valley fold. Okay? And folks, that is the fun fold. That's it. That's all there is to it right there. So now it's just a matter of decorating. Yeah? All right, let's put this aside because that's done. All right, I've got some pieces of the Ornate Garden Specialty DSP, and I am matting it on terracotta tile. All right, so let's do that. And we're going to do a little coloring. I did do a little coloring ahead. Hey, Jennifer. Hi, Alicia in Chile, Ohio. Today was some kind of gorgeous, not as gorgeous as yesterday. Yesterday it was like 73, which was warm. But today it was just a little cooler, but very pleasant. Today was the first day of spring for me, and we know this because I actually wore shorts all day long. I figured on the off chance that that disease virus, whose name will not be spoken on this video, and the off chance that it happens to be gone and we get to go to Maui, I need to start working on not having bright white legs. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, Karen, thank you. That is true. It is a very easy fun fold, and that's one of my favorite things. So now I'm going to take some of the old olive ribbon. This is part of the combo pack that comes, it's with the Ornate Garden Suite, and you get a terracotta tile and an old olive in the ribbon combo pack, and that's very nice. And I am going to use a glue dot or 2, well, technically actually 4. And I am going to put this glue dot, run this piece of ribbon like so. Okay, so that is where I want it. So let me take a little bit of snail and just run it right there so that I get it adhered down good. Okay. And there's a little extra because, you know, I couldn't see it very good. So fortunately, snail rubs off pretty easy, right? All right. Now I saw my scissors here just a second ago. Hey, Diane, it's cold, huh? Light snow. Oh, no. Mm-mm. No, no, no. Mm-mm. Hey, Lenny. Glad you could join us. And we'll use a glue dot on the other end. Like so. And then I'm just going to do that again. One more little bit of snail to help me out. And then some glue dots to adhere it to the back. Come on, glue dot. Do the right thing. We planted today. We planted like we were Farmer's Almanac people. Now, yes, it is actually a week before the official last frost date, but everything we've seen has told us that there's nothing left frost-wise. And my plants were fairly desperate to get in the ground. Let's just say they were fairly desperate. So I'm all set. I've got 12 Ancho Magnifico pepper plants, and I've got 2 of each Sweetheart. Have you guys ever had Sweetheart grape tomatoes? Oh my goodness, they are so good. You can just sit there and eat them right off the vine. They taste like candy. They're awesome. Awesome. Just saying that they are awesome. Okay, now this is going to be on our front, our card front. Come here now. I've got a glue dot. Being a rogue, I have a rogue glue dot. But I'm going to go ahead and get it decorated first, or partially decorated at least, so that it's a little easier to deal with it. Now, before we started, I cut 2 of the white Stitch So Sweetly rectangles on the off chance, not that it would ever happen, but on the off chance that I messed it up. And, you know, it could certainly happen. I'm going to use this cute little corner floral image from the Ornate Style stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it in Early Espresso. Yes, grape tomatoes are so good. I hope both of them live. The one of them didn't look so happy this morning. We actually planted them last night and then went to bed after we watered off. It didn't look very healthy this morning, but it'll pop back. So I'm just going to stamp this in the corner in Early Espresso and let it dry a little bitty bit. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate you. And let's see, let's stamp a couple of sentimentes, a few sentimentes, shall we? I'm going to use the big thanks. Are you guys getting ready to just love this Ornate Thanks stamp set? I mean, seriously, 3 anchoring sentiments, I call them, and then all sorts of wonderful sentiments in one of the best fonts ever, the bestest fonts ever, that you can say almost anything you want. And so in this case, I have modified one of them so that instead of saying why thanks ever so much, I'm just saying why thanks so much. Okay, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. Now I am going to pull this to me just a little bit so that I can make sure that I am not only straight but not infringing on my flowers. And I'm just going to let that set a second to get a good image like so. And that's exactly right, Mary. I cut it extra, which means I won't need it, but that is way better than needing it and not having it, right? Okay, so now I have the, where did Y go? Oh, Y, here we go. Here's Y. Why? I ask you why? Why? Okay, and I'm gonna use Early Espresso, like so. I'm gonna move this because I'm sure gonna make a mess. I'm just going to stamp Y kind of snuggled up to the top of that sentiment, like so. And then I have on my block, I have ever so much. It's very hard for you to see, I'm certain, but it says ever so much. But really all I want is so much. So what I'm doing is I'm just barely getting to the so on my stamp. Can you see how it is there? Yeah, there it is. Now you can see it. So ever is not, ooh, that's hard. Ever is not inked, but so much is, okay? And then I'm just going to pull it to me again just a little bit so I can see it. And I'm gonna stamp it right under thanks, snugged right up against the sentiment, just like that, okay? So not only does it already have a bunch of options, but you can make even more by some judicious inking. Thank you, Denise. I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right, so now this is pretty much dry, so I'm going to take a few Stampin' blends, and you'll be glad to know that all of the other places that I've already done this, see, look, I already made an error. Error, error, whoop, whoop, error, error. Well, I'll fix it later. Maybe I'll fix it right now. I have to fix it now because it's bothering me. Let me see if I can fix it. Take my handy ink eraser. Oh my goodness, where have you been all of my life? You know, for a person who can get ink on everything, I can't believe this wasn't my like second purchase ever. But I've got one now. There we go. Did you see that? There was a red smudge there, and now there isn't. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, sorry, that was a little aside. I wasn't going to be able to even think. So with this image, I'm going to color it, and I'm using blends because I like kind of the multiple shadings of the colors, but I'm not really going to blend. The image to me is so small that blending would be kind of wasted. So I've got my light and dark mint macaron. I have my light and dark Calypso Coral, which is pretty close really to Terracotta Tile. And then I have my dark Daffodil Delight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bullet end. Don't usually do that. Usually use the tip, the brush tip. But I'm going to use the bullet end, and I'm going to color with the light mint macaron. I'm just going to color all of the leaves. Okay, hardest part of this is determining which is a leaf and which is a flower on some of them. And if you get too carried away, you know, you might color a flower mint macaron. So just take a minute, take a beat. This is very de-stressing. If you like to color, this is a great little image. And the matching one, the giant one in the set, really fun, really fun. Look what I did with it the other day. See how pretty that is in Calypso Coral. And this is actually Calypso Coral blends, and then Calypso Coral watercolor pencil, and then Bermuda Bay blends and mint macaron. So pretty image, nice to color. Okay, anyway, back to where I was. I've got Phineasm today. That's the bunny syndrome. Have you heard of that? Where you're going along, like getting ready to scratch your neck, and you get sidetracked by a bunny. There. Okay, so I've colored all of the leaves with the light mint macaron, and now I'm going to come back with my dark mint macaron made by Tombow, and they're called a sand eraser. That is correct. It's actually it's called a sand and rubber eraser. So you've got sand on one side to do ink, and then you have a rubber eraser on the other side for adhesive. So that's kind of handy. Okay, dark mint macaron, and now I'm just going to come back and color some of the leaves. So I'm getting kind of a two-tone effect. I'm not blending, like I said. I think blending these tiny images would be darn near impossible and also overkill. So don't do it. I mean, you can do it if you want. I'm certainly not going to say you can't, because it's your card and you can do what you want, but it seems like your time could be better spent. Okay, and then I'm going to take my light Calypso Coral, and with the same bullet pen, and I'm going to color some of the images of the flowers in light Calypso Coral. Not all, just some. Oh, see, look, right there. I missed a leaf. I missed a leaf right there, so I'm going to color that leaf right there. See how I owned up to that? I could have just colored it and made it be a flower, but I didn't, because it wasn't, so it's not. All right, there we go. Couple of 3 or 4 or 12. There is no right, there is no wrong. It's yours. Do how you like. Obviously, you could use other colors. There are other colors that work with this suite that are not listed as primary colors. I do actually believe Blushing Bride works really nice with this set. Just saying. Okay, now I'm going to take the dark Calypso Coral and color the other flowers. Now, if you even wanted like a third Calypso Coral color, you could take your light blend again and go back over a couple of three of the ones that you've already done, and that would give you yet another dimension of Calypso Coral, but I'm not going to do that. I'm also not doing all of the flowers in Calypso Coral because I'm going to finally come back and do my dark Daffodil Delight. So I've got a few yellow flowers here and there. Now, we have a new color coming out, just so you know, called Honeybee. And the jury is out whether it's light like this or dark like Crushed Curry. I don't know. We're going to see. This is my dark Daffodil Delight. And for me, the dark Daffodil Delight in the blends looks a little bit Crushed Curry-ish or Honeybee-ish, depending on which of the yellows in the set is really Honeybee. And I am very excited to find that out. Like you, I will not find out until later. Unlike you, if you're not a demonstrator, I will find out earlier than you do. Okay, so that is going to be our sentiment, and it is going to go on our little card front that we made right about here. Okay, so before we get there, I'm going to make a few flowers using Thoughtful Blooms. Oh, here it is. Okay. Now, these are real fun little flowers. I've got all three of them out on a block somewhere. There they are. Here they are. And on a piece of Whisper White, I'm going to make a few flowers. Okay? So, using terracotta tile to start with, I'm going to do a full strength stripey dude. And then I'm going to do a stamped off once solid dude. Oops, make sure you get a good stamped off once. Right over the top, like so. And then I'm going to take the smallest flower. I'm going to stamp him once in full strength. And then I'm going to take the big solid one again in stamped off once. Okay. And then, let's see, I think I'll do one more that is a stripy guy and a stamped off once little guy. Let's try that, see how that looks. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to clean my stamp. My stamp. Bumblebee. Did I say honeybee or bumblebee? It's bumblebee. It'll probably take me the entire 2 years that it's an in color to figure it out. Are there new colors? Probably. There are more new colors than just Bumblebee because it will be the new in color that'll run 2020 through 2022. So it'll be Bumblebee and 4 of its friends. Alrighty, now I'm going to take my Crushed Curry stamp pad. I'm going to make a couple of Crushed Curry flowers, doing it exactly the same way as before. A full strength stripey dude, a part strength solid dude, right over the top, hopefully straightly. Yes, and then I'll do a, let's see, maybe I'll do another full strength. No, not one of those. Let's do a stamped off once biggie. And then a full strength smallie, like so-y. There we go. Okay. Oops. All right, and now, what is a top fan? I see some of your comments. I think it's just a lot of people who make a lot of comments all the time. What did I use to clean my stamps? This is a chamois that I got off of Amazon. And it's called an Absorber XL, and it comes in a giant sheet, And I just cut off a few pieces like this, and you run it under warm water and it gets damp, and then you let it dry. So a dry one is all stiffified like this, and then you run it under warm water and it gets nice and wet and you're ready to rock. And I keep it in a Tupperware off to the side. Easy peasy. All right, it's a rating Facebook gives because we continue to post on her. There you go. See, it's all about Facebook. Everything revolves around Facebook. Okay, so now I'm taking the awesome small bloom punch and punching out my flowers. Don't you love a punch? I really, really love punches a lot. I love punches almost as much as I love embossing folders. I mean, I'm just saying. Because they are so handy. And this one is perfect. It is a very, very nice size. Easy to use, easy to punch. And you'll see I'm making kind of quick work of this, right? Now, I also love dies, but think how long it would take to cut all these dies out. Punches are so cool. I personally don't think any punch should ever retire. Okay. And then one more. Cleverly put in that awkward spot, Mary. And yes, I could cut it off, but anybody would do that, so I'm going to do it. Yes, that's my ribbon scissors. Don't judge me. Okay, here we go. One more. Let me show you a technique. Do you guys know the sticky note technique? If you, now you can obviously hold it from this direction, but if you are right-handed and want to stamp like that, that gets a little bit awkward. And sometimes you can get a little too close. So take a sticky note and sticky note it to your cardstock, like so. And then you can hold it quite easily to adjust where it is in the punch. Dun, 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 dun. Booyah! Okay. All right, now these can go aside. And I want to show you one more thing before we get to putting together our pieces of stuff. Okay, wait a minute. There we go. Okay, so this die right here, I was playing around with it, and this is the border that it cuts out. Can you see that? Kind of pretty, right? It just cuts this out. And in the course of my playing with it, I discovered these little doohickeys are the punched out pieces. They're the negative pieces. Well, to me, they look like little berries and little flowers, little branches. So I decided to use them. So that is what I used to make some layering, because it's not my card if it doesn't have some layers, right? So can you see where I've put them? Right here, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to build my card, and I'm going to build it off of the card front just because that's easier. But what I am going to do on the card front is a dry fit of this panel. Let me tell you why. Well, because I can't get a hold of it on camera. There we go. Okay, so that's how it's going to set when I put it on final. And I'm doing a dry fit because I want my sentiment to stick off of the edge of this panel. So that means that's about how far. So I see about there. I'm going to put Stampin' Dimensionals on this part of the sentiment. Okay? So I will go ahead and do that right quick like a bunya. So it was on the non-flower side. I mean, you can put dimensionals over here, but they're not really going to do anything. And they could actually be a pain if you inadvertently pulled their covers off, because then they would stick inappropriately. Nobody likes an inappropriately sticking dimensional. Nobody does. That is just not good. Okay, so there's that. And that is going to go, oh, thank you. This rogue glue dot is really starting to bug me. Hang on a second, I gotta fix him because he is really bugging me. Everywhere I set this thing, it just wants to be rogue. Okay, so I know that this is going to go here like that. And I'm going to take my tweezers and just do a dry fit. So I know I'm going to want my branches, my little branch doohickeys, about like that. Okay. And then we'll just kind of pile up some flowers. I think we'll go, that one can go under there like so. And you just do this until you get it looking how you think it ought to look, right? I mean, y'all know how you want it to look, and how you want it to look is probably going to look different than how I want mine to look, and that is absolutely okay. Brave enough to actually cut my dimensionals for the first time today. It wasn't bad at all. It really isn't as painful as you think it's going to be, is it? I mean, that's the part that kills me, is I just always figured, you know, it would really hurt them. And I think it does hurt their feelings, but I think they get over it pretty quickly. Okay, so I kind of like how that's looking. Maybe a little more like that. And you know as well as I do that if I wasn't using my camera to take the video, I would take a picture, but I'm just going to kind of wing it, okay? How about that? I'm going to pull that out, pull this off, and then start adhering. And we'll see what we get. It may not look exactly the same, but okay. I'm going to find the time to case your cards and create my own. Karen. Well, just change up a few things here and there, and then it is your own. See? Like, I cased Karen K, but it doesn't look the same. I mean, the fold is the same, yeah, but the card doesn't look the same. Okay, let's put that there. And then we'll put our negative space flower guy. And if you're not sure how things are looking, you can always stick your card front back on, or your sentiment back on, to see how things are going. I'm good yet. I'm happy. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and adhere this one down. Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to use some liquid glue and some dimensional pieces. I think we'll do this one like so. Okay. So what you want to do here is not use the dimensional quite yet. Okay, so we're going to put a dimensional on one of the flower petals. And then you can use, I want that to be even smaller than that, actually. So it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes you just really need a tiny piece of dimensional. Okay. Try that at the end. And I'll show you what my problem was. I want it relatively close to my sentiment, right? And with the dimensional where it was and the size it was, I couldn't do that. So right there is where I want it. So now what I'm going to do is take my liquid glue on the opposite sides and go ahead and glue that. But I still have the cover on my dimensional, okay, because I want to be able to pick it up yet. Okay? Are y'all following what I'm saying here? Okay. And then let's see, I've got another couple of, I'm going to put this with glue on the card front itself, like so, like so. Pretty soon I'll be doing eighths and you all will be amazed and mystified. Okay, and then this one is going to go here, and so I'm going to put a dimensional out there. I'll grab that other little sticky piece that I had and adhere it with just a little bit of liquid glue to the sentiment. Like that. Okay, now let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to adhere that with a little bit of liquid glue to the sentiment. No, I'm not losing my mind. I just did not give it long enough to dry. So I have to do a little playing with it. Come here. Now, come here. Silly thing. See, probably if I'd used a full-size dimensional, that wouldn't have happened, but I didn't. So, you know, I have to deal with the consequences. You know, the decisions have consequences. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my dimensionals on my card front and stick it on the front of the Fun Fold card, and then I will put the sentiment on last. Okay, that way I can adjust it a little bit if I've been off in my measurements. Not that that ever happens. That does not happen. I am not ever wrong in my dimensions. Said Mary Never. Just throwing it out there. I am perpetually off in my everythings. Dimensional stock probably dropped because of Mary. Have you seen how the stock market's crashing? It was because of me cutting my dimensionals. Yeah. Yep. Hey, Daryl, glad to see you. Did you get my email today about your workshop? I hope. You definitely got the ladybug set, so woohoo! All right, so let's go ahead and adhere this to the front of the card, like so. Okay. And then I'm going to just take the covers off of all of my little dimensional peoples. And thank you, Jana. Is that correct? Jana? I don't want to screw that up. Jana. Yep. It's all me. You can blame me. Well, come on. I can't get that off. See, when you cut them in half, sometimes it's harder to get the covers off. Just saying. Not really. I'm totally lying. I'm trying to save face for all those years that I was determined that I could not make me, don't even try to make me use a partial dimensional. Okay, let me show you something. You've probably seen on my blog that Stamp and Storage is having a big sale. 15% off site-wide and free shipping. I don't know who doesn't love free shipping. I surely do. I really do. So anyway, I wanted to let you see, these are the storage pockets. Not only are they awesome to hold the magnets with the dies on them, but they also work really well to hold embellishments. Yeah. It is harder. It's much harder. No, it's not. It's not. Okay, so I've got some little gold pearly thingies, little pearly doohas, and I'm going to put them in the middle of each flower, like so. Come here. I'm holding my mouth just right now, so I cannot talk and hold my mouth just right. It's just not possible, okay? I'm just saying. I can't do it. If you can hold your mouth just right and talk, then you should be a demonstrator and do live videos, because it is not easy. Okay, now that one I'm just sliding in there. Could I get away with not putting it? Yes, but it would bother me. Okay, so now all we got to do to finish the front is put a couple of panels of DSP. That's right. It's autocorrect. Dang it. All right, I've got some pieces of terracotta tile for mats, and then I've got some strips of the DSP. And for the front, I'm putting the mint macaron out so that you can see the pretty gold embossing on there. All right. And these are just easy little panels straight up. Thought about playing with the dies, and then I thought, no, I'm just going to let this pretty paper do the talking for me and do all of the work. That's one of the very nice things about our DSP is it's so freaking pretty, and it can really shine and hold the card all by its lonesome. Okay. Now I'm just going to use more liquid glue. Thank you, Trudy. Going to dinner. See ya. Have a good dinner, Robbie. Thank you for joining. All right. So then I'm just going to adhere one to each of these panels here. Oops, sorry if I bumped the camera. And I'm just kind of doing a check back to be sure that these line up. I mean, it's all eyeball, so it is what it is in many extents, yeah, that's right, to many extents. But if you can make it be close, that's even better. Like so. And there's the card front, done. Okay, now quick like a bunny, we'll do the back. So I'll go ahead and do these panels since I've got them all out. And this time I'm putting the flowers out on the side panels. Still matted on terracotta tile though. I really like terracotta tile. Are you guys loving terracotta tile? I kind of love terracotta tile. But where is the last piece? It's here somewhere. But do not despair. I'm not going to spend hours looking for the recalcitrant. Silly cardstock. Silly cardstock. All right. Wait. Maybe this is it. Is this it? Nope, that's too low. Okay, I gotta cut more cardstock. Darn it, Jim. I was so close. I was gonna make it all the way through a video without having to regroup and cut a piece of cardstock. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so these mats are 2 inches by 4 inches. By 4. There we go. Phew, at least that wasn't a hard piece to cut. All right. And then again, now see, I'll mess it up, so let me be careful. Okay, we're gonna do the flowers out. You know, the scary part about the virus whose name will not be spoken is that it's also allergy time. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a hard time with pine pollen, and there is way plenty of it right now. Way plenty of it right now. And so every time I sniffle, 8,700 times a day, I think, is this it? Is it the big one? But it isn't. It's just pollen. But it's nasty. It's yellow and it's all over the place, which is really bad because it's like the most perfect time of year in Georgia. It is absolutely gorgeous here right now. And it would be nice if the pollen wasn't everywhere. But like a fool, I'm leaving my windows open because it's that time of year and my windows will be open by golly. By golly. Can't make me close them even if I do have yellow crap all over my whole house. Okay. And just a little, I got a little jiggy with the glue. Don't get jiggy with your glue, I'm just saying. And I gotta push that up a little bit because that is not even at all. Okay. It's not sliding. It'll be okay. All right, now the final piece is that sentiment panel that I showed you earlier there, that I was cleaning off my mess. And I'm going to add a little sentiment that says, for everything. And I'm going to do it in terracotta tile to match the large sentiment on the front. Could also do it in early espresso. Oh, yes, Lord. Yes. That is true. They will leave you a wide swath. Although maybe not. People are so goofy. They just don't understand that truly this is a thing. And also, they've now had kids in their 20s in critical condition from this. So it is becoming non-generational. You aren't immune if you're young. Just throwing that out there. And there's for everything. And this is the same exact image with in early espresso colored exactly like I did on the front. I just thought in the interest of time, I would not color that again because seriously, how many times can you watch me do that? Right? My poor brother, I feel bad for him though. He's in LA where they've locked everybody down because it's going rampantly crazy there. But somehow somebody determined that his Porsche dealership was essential. So he's having to go to work. And he did say that there was a couple that came in last week in the midst of all of this, 70 years old, to test drive a Porsche. Really? 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 Okay. I don't know. Maybe they financed it for 72 months and figured, wouldn't matter anyway. Now, you know what I should make sure is that I'm doing this right side up. Just saying. Okay, so we're going to put that in there. Isn't early espresso so pretty with the terracotta tile? So pretty. Wah, 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 wah. Thank you, Karen K, for showing me this beautiful fun fold. I love it. All right, last thing is, this is my envelope that is already done. Well, you know what I'm going to do, right? Goodness gracious sakes alive. Lord of mercy. There it is. There it is. I found it. I found it. I guess you do have to do what's important. If you need to go buy a Porsche in the middle of a pandemic, then okay. Now, you could put either one of these out on your envelope flap. I like the flowers. I'm into flowers. I almost borked that. It's like all of a sudden I got complete... Oh, you know what that was probably? A pollen fuzz. That's what it was. I had a moment... a pollen-induced moment of dysfunctionality. Okay, there we go. Now, I probably ought to put the lid back on my glue at some point, or I'm just going to have a big old gluey mess. Okay. And now we out. No, sorry. Oh my goodness, speaking of Kenny Rogers, can you believe... Fine. Oh my goodness, that was sad. I saw that this morning. 81 years old. That's not very old, you guys. That is pretty young. I bet Dolly Parton is really, really sad today. It's really sad. I didn't know, but he lived up in Sandy Springs, which is just north of the Loop here. I didn't know that. All right, there we go. So 2 versions, same card, and you could certainly use any of the DSPs in the set. You could use any of the color schemes in the set. You could use Old Olive for your leaves. Do whatever works for you. I do hope you're looking forward to the Ornate Garden Suite because it is beautiful. Beautiful. All right. I want you to enjoy your lockdown. I want you to take time to take care of yourself. And that means take time to craft and enjoy life. And you know what? Life is short, so eat chocolate. Just saying. All right, guys. We'll see you hopefully on Thursday next week on my YouTube video. Take care. Have a good rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.